plated welded steel, but the generic term that we use, that most people use, is Damascus steel. Traditional Damascus is made in Syria, originating from India. There's a long history behind that, but I'm not going to get into it. Today I'm going to be talking about modern Damascus, which is plated welded steel. So for my steel, I am using today sheets of 1075 mixed with pieces of 15 in 20. Now these are giant saw blades that I bought from saw specialists in Durban. They are 1.47 mils thick. The 1070 is 1.5 mils thick. So they're made together very nicely for an even layer count. Now I've cut them up into sizes and I've stacked, alternating the two layers, this 20 layer billet. Now I've got about 4 of these plus one old one which we're going to put in the fire. You can hear the fire going in the background, and I will slowly make a knife out of Damascus steel. Okay, so I've stacked together my 4 billets. I've got the old one sitting in the forge. It's already been folded twice, and we're going to fold it a few more times just to get the layer count that I want. And I'm going to stick one of these in. I only work 2 at a time. You can move 3, maybe it's not a bad idea, but 3 tends to suck a lot of heat out of the forge. I've got here a Black Dragon Mark II forge from Niels van den Berg from Black Dragon Forge out in Syria. And yeah, this was one of the first ones he made, and this has worked really, really hard over the years. So let's make some Damascus. methods. We are left with 4 billets that I'm going to use for blades and 1 spare billet. I've got 2 preforms which I'll show you now after I've laddered them and I've patterned them. And I've got 2 billets which I'm going to ladder. These are crushed W billets. Now, unlike normal Damascus where you fold them like this, these 2 have been taken the layers like this, turn them on their side and fold them this way. Okay, so that creates this kind of ripple effect, which you'll see once we grind and etch the steel, so we can see afterwards. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to put 2 ladders in here. Ladder is just the type of pattern where we grind grooves in. The reason we have to put the ladder in is because if we just use the steel like it is, the patterns are very straight and boring. By upsetting the regular flow of the steel, by carving out or grinding out a groove, what you're basically doing is when we forge it flat, it takes all the patterns underneath and it brings them to the surface. So that when we forge or grind out the steel, it creates something more interesting than just straight lines. So if you put a groove in, it leaves you, in straight steel, it leaves little like wiggles like a ladder, or what we call a ladder, but like little S's. And with this one, with the W's, it's going to actually come out looking like little W's. But you'll see that once it's done. So we're going to now ladder these. Now there's 2 ways to do it. One is take a chalk, mark off all your lines. Me, I don't worry that so much about that because I use the thickness of the grinding disc to space. So I do 1 groove, I leave a space of the grinding disc, I do another groove, and that way I can get on with it without having to worry about too much measuring. Alright, so let's get grinding. Okay, so very important are eye protection, leather apron, and air protection. Don't necessarily need the air protection, but it's recommended. What I also do, I'm well ventilated, so I've got a big fan right behind here. You're going to hear the air passing by the camera as I turn it towards the job. And yeah, now I'm going to start cutting some ladders. Cue the fast forward. One of the things we can do to make our life easier is by taking a thin disc and cutting guidelines and then following it through with the thick disc. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to cut a series of thin lines all the way on both sides. Then I'm going to turn around. We're going to work our way up from a thin cutting disc to a 2mm cutting disc and then up to the big grinding wheel. Doing it just with the grinding disc takes quite long. As you can see here, I've completed my laddering of the 2 billets. The reason they blew like that is I just stuck them in the forge and forgot that I had to film it for you guys. And there you go, you can see the pattern there. You're going to try and keep your ladders and your grinds on opposite sides from each other so that the piece draws out evenly. If you do them exactly beside each other, your piece is going to be much thinner. So by offsetting it slightly, you will get a more even piece of Damascus. Now for these ones, what I've done is I've given them what we call edge patterning, so the grind doesn't go all the way to the top, but it's focused on the edge, and that I'm going to hand forge out. And for this one, I've done a crisscross pattern, which is going to look quite cool. This one I'm actually just drawing out flat on the press, and then I'm going to hammer it to shape. Alright, so there you go, that's the laddering done for the set. And then of course I still got that one over there, which I haven't decided what I'm going to do with yet. So alright, enjoy. We're going to draw those out. So I'm going to draw these two out first, then I'm going to draw that one, and then I'm going to hand hammer that one out, and then sorry, then hand hammer both those out. Alright. So my battery on my camera ran out with my phone. But what I did basically was finish forging the two big knives, which I've got here. Alright. Okay. So these are two, a 14-inch and a 11-inch Bowie. It might be a little bit bigger, I might have to make it smaller. But yeah, so this has got the edge ladder on it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick it in a cooler fire, so it's not so hot. And I'm going to just refine it a little bit, so it's back to normal forging. Same with this one. And then once I'm done with that, the two small billets that I made, are now going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ow! Oh, that slide. 6 knives. Oh, my fingers. All right, and then the shorter Bowie knife, I made it too long, so I cut it shorter to be what it is. And the tip, I'm going to turn into a little puko as well. So nothing goes to waste. So this should be an interesting little knife. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about how I forged Damascus. Thank you very much again. Please like and subscribe and share the hell out of these videos. Trying to get up to 2,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate it, and I really do appreciate the support. So thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next one.